What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the engine case cover or stator cover on a 2003 Honda CBR 600RR. Hope you enjoy. Alrighty, so first thing we got to do, obviously remove this plastic so we can get access to these bolts that hold this thing on. So let's just remove this and this now. Now that you got these plastics off, you can go ahead and just remove, there's like 8 bolts that go around here. Just remove all those and just keep a oil pan or a small bucket or something underneath this, because there's probably going to be some oil drip out when you unscrew it. This bottom one over here has a little like bracket that bolts onto it, though. Just make note of that. Then after you get all of those out, you're just gonna kind of slowly try and wiggle this back and forth and just work it out. You might have to use a needle nose or something and grab onto the edge through the screw hole. But yeah, I'll just work that out until that pops off. Alright guys, this thing is pretty tough to get off. I ended up having to actually use a little slide hammer that I have. I happen to like be able to hook onto this tab perfectly and yank it out. So we might have to get creative. But yeah, I just busted it loose, so now I'll just finish taking it all the way out. Alrighty. Whew, there we have it. That is cool. Reminds me of like the arc reactor from Iron Man or something. Alrighty, well now we just gotta transfer this over to the new one and put it back on. Alright guys, I'm just gonna start taking this apart. There are these 2 like pins that go in here. Looks like the other one stayed on the bike, but just make sure you transfer those over to your new cover. There will be one here and one here. Just taking this piece out, that conceals the wire. And then I'm going to slide that wire out, and now I need to take these Allen heads out. Dang, those things are really in there. I'm gonna have to use the impact. Just make sure you try and keep these bolts clean. Don't let anything get in the threads or anything like that. And this middle piece should just pop right out, and there you have that. Out with the old. And we're just gonna go straight back on with the new one and get those bolts threaded right back in. Just gonna snug these down, but then I'm gonna tighten them down by hand. Don't use the impact to tighten them down. Wedge this right back into place where the electric wire goes, and then this piece goes back on top of that to hold that in place. 10 mil goes right here. So there you have it. Everything is just threaded in temporarily until I can tighten it by hand. So I'm just going to take my hand ratchet and just give these things a good snug by hand. Give them all one more snug and call that good. Now I'll do the same thing with this 10 mil. Alrighty guys, so like I said earlier, don't forget to put these little pins back in. One here, push them in all the way, and then one here. Next thing I'm going to want to do, take some gasket maker. You can either use like the official Honda Bond stuff, or any kind of, you know, gasket maker will work. RTV silicone base, that's kind of what you want to use. You don't need a ton of this stuff. You just kind of want to make a little continuous bead around the whole thing. I'll spread out with my finger after I go around it. So I'm going to be careful. You don't want to get this stuff inside of the gasket cover or inside of the cover. You just kind of want it on the outside edge. So do your best to keep it on the outside edge. It's kind of tricky to get it spread perfectly, but gonna make sure that it connects all the way around. You can use your finger or glove, whatever. Even past these pins, make sure that it connects just so that it's a continuous seal all the way around, that there's no gaps in your seal. Alright guys, so once you're happy with how your gasket maker looks, you can go ahead and put this thing back on. Make sure you do a quick wipe of the face of this on the bike. Make sure this top piece is pushed all the way in. It kind of likes to work its way out. So once you push that all the way in, and then you are ready to go back on. It's gonna have to kind of wiggle its way in there past the wires. Then I'm just gonna line up those pegs that we put in from the old case, the old cover. There we go. That lined up and went on just like so. Alrighty, so now obviously you can start threading these bolts back in, and make sure you hand start them. Alrighty guys, so now I got all of those threaded in. I'm just going around literally just with my 8mm and by hand, and just getting them all the way in, just to make sure that they're absolutely started right. And as you tighten, you can start to see, right, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you can start to see a little bit of that gasket maker just squeeze out the top, just a tiny bit of it. That's perfect. That's kind of what you want. So I'm just going to continue tightening these all down just by hand. So guys, after I get those all started just by hand, I'm basically just going to go down and just give them like a little bit of a snug by hand. Not really much. I'm just kind of just giving them like just a tiny bit of a snug turn. And basically that's all you're gonna do, and then you're gonna let it sit. You want to let it sit for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then come back and snug them down all the way. That basically what that does is just lets the gasket maker like create a seal first before you just crank on it and potentially squeeze the gasket maker out. So in like 30 minutes to an hour, we'll come back and we will tighten those down all the way. Alright guys, so it's been about an hour. I actually put these plastics on and forgot that I have to tighten these back down, but I can still get to it if I just take this out. So I'm just going to tighten these back down. I don't have a torque wrench that measures in inch pounds or like a 1/4 inch one, so I'm just going to wing it kind of. If you want to try and look up the right torque specs for these, that would be the recommended way to do it, but I'm not going to do that. Basically I'm just going to turn until they get a good amount of resistance and then just stop. You don't want to over tighten these, they can strip really easy. So turn, stop. I'm just kind of feeling for about the same amount of like resistance as all of them. Just try and get it as even as I can by hand, but just get them nice and snug. And one more on the bottom. Oh, I guess I already got that one. And then there you have it. You got your nice new Stator cover, brand new shiny, not a scratch on it. Pretty nice. So there you have the side-by-side. I laid my bike down in a roundabout last year, and that is what happened. So that's the reason I got a new one. It looks all nice and new. And there you go. That's how you do that. Alrighty guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you found it helpful, comment down below and let me know. And hit the subscribe button. That would be awesome. Or don't, it's your choice. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.